Get in the smoke. It's the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Welcome back to the Barbecue Central Show. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Want to get in touch with the show? You can do it via email. bbqcentralradio@gmail.com is the way to do it. This portion of the show brought to you by the good folks at the Barbecue Guru, makers of automatic pit temperature control devices, not to mention a host of other products that make your barbecue and grilling life easier, like the Onyx cookers, the Holy Smoke meat mats, all that great stuff. Check them out two ways. Online, the bbqguru.com, or you can dial them up toll-free, 800-288-GURU. It's the good folks at the Barbecue Guru. We've been doing a few interviews here with people that are interested in running for the Kansas City Barbecue Society Board of Directors for the upcoming upcoming year 2010. And joining me now is the pitmaster of the Backyard Burners from Baltimore, Maryland. It is John Kirby. John, how are you?
Hi, fine, thank you.
How long have you been competing? And then, more importantly, how long have you been an actual member of the Kansas City Barbecue Society?
I started competing in 2004, just as a lark in Bel Air, and then 2005 I joined KCBS and also became a certified judge that same year. We've been competing ever since.
Have you ever made a run at the board of directors in previous years?
No, this will be my first time.
All right, so as I had mentioned, they're right in the open, where there seems to have been, at least on the Internet, quite an amount of drama. We had Rod Gray stepping down from the board earlier in the year. There were people calling for other board members' heads on the Internet earlier in the year as well. It seemed to have died off now, but of course, a lot of people are now looking at wanting to make changes within the board of directors. This is going to be an extra time commitment on your part. What don't you like, or what would you like to see changed, which is kind of sparking your motivation to run for the board of directors?
Initially, I thought the board at times tried to micromanage, and I got to see the day-to-day staff handle that. I got the board just go back to handling the, maybe the big picture. I thought last year when it came out with that test, the write-in test for all the contest reps, I thought that was a pretty good idea because it got everybody back onto the same page. I'd like to see something done like that with the CBJ teachers. I think the judging has changed so many different times. Nobody is on the same page anymore. At least that's the impression I get.
Should the rules be simplified at all in order to kind of still ingratiate themselves to not only seasoned competitors, but potential new people coming to the table as well?
The rules are actually, they're fairly simple. But you have a lot of people that, the old school, they start at 9s and work their way down. Everybody else came in and saying, well, let's start at 6 and work our way up or down. And now they get away with that, and it seems a little bit confusing. We had a new guy at our table this past summer at a contest, and since he was his first contest, we were all kind of helping, trying in between judging, helping say, well, next is going to be such and such. This is what you look for in that. And then when it came to brisket, we mentioned the burnt ends. Mm-hmm. And he said, our instructor said that burnt ends are just there for decoration, and we're not supposed to take into consideration one way or the other when judging. That's just one of the things that kind of caught my attention.
So perhaps there needs to be some type of consistency in the way that new judges are trained from sea to shining sea.
There's, I don't know how many judges are on the books right now that even don't judge. I mean, a lot of them were, I guess, head cooks that took the judging class to find out what the judges might be looking for to better help them. But if you don't judge in, say, 2-3 years or that, you should be dropped from the judging list. That's my opinion. Also, I think refresher courses, if it's just a fill-in-the-blank take-home test, get everybody on the same page again.
So the things that I have been hearing that seem to regenerate when I have these conversations with folks, whether it be somebody that's already on the board or somebody that's looking like yourself to make a run for a board at the first time, is that there is a lot of micromanaging going on right now, and that they would like to see the board go into a greater holistic vision of moving the whole organization forward in the long term and not worrying about day-to-day stuff. You have employees at the office there that are supposed to be doing that, so get away from that. And then there is a judging factor that seems to be recurring as well with everybody. Should there be a different set of rules for judges that are adopted where it's more like an ICBA or something that is more to the general public, where if it tastes good, that might be the overwhelming thing that is governing the table versus how it's looked or how it's put together?
Well, I'm not familiar with some of the other organizations and how they judge. I like the way KCBS does it. I think the blind judging, the way it is great. I don't agree all the time with the garnish rule, but everybody uses it, so I think it's expected almost to have garnish. But I think it should come down to taste. It is a food contest, and we're trying to put out the best product there is to put out. Taste and tenderness, to me, especially taste, should rule the day.
Would you be opposed to either voting garnish in as a mandatory thing that you need to do during turn-ins, or voting it out altogether and just stop leaving it as in the gray optional area?
I would like to see it one way or the other, yes. I think people are taking things to extreme. You went from lettuce to now the putting greens with all the parsley. Why eliminate, red tip or different types of lettuce? I mean, lettuce should be lettuce. And so if we're going to have garnish, why restrict it to just certain things? I'm sure there was a reason for that rule, but you don't hear it explained.
If you're elected to the board next year for 2010, aside from the things that you mentioned, is there any other things that you would like to change or that you would like to implement during your time on the board?
Like I said, my main interest right now is judging and CBJs. And if elected, I would like to be put on the CBJ and judging committee, and start having working whatever with the other committee members, was setting up a refresher course for the trainers, similar to one that was given to the contest reps. And I would also like to see a purge of the judges that haven't judged in a set number of years. Somebody comes in once every 2 years to judge, I don't think should be judging.
We're talking with John Kirby. He is the pitmaster of Backyard Burners, competition team out of Baltimore, Maryland, making a run for the Kansas City Barbecue Society's board of directors for next year. If you're looking long-term for the Kansas City Barbecue Society, where would you like to see it in 5 or 10 years?
Oh, I'd love to see us international. I doubt it will be a thing in the Olympics, but I'd like to see a true world championship held in different capitals of different countries every other year or something like that. I do believe we're going global, and I'd like to take and be a big part of that to help to get it started.
What do you feel is a positive currently right now with the existing board? What do you like?
Well, not knowing any of them personally, I think they're all trying to do their best for the organization. I think maybe there are some egos that should be checked at the door before they come into a committee meeting, but that's just all hearsay on my part at this time.
I've heard from a number of people that are going to be making a run for the board this year. They're all cooks. Candy's a cook, you're a cook, John's a cook. And they say inevitably that it is very important to have as many cooks or current cooks on the board as possible, because it's giving all the other cooks kind of a voice in the board of directors. Mike Lake is a cook, and he's the president, but he typically does not vote because that is his right. Do you feel the same way? Is it best to have as many cooks on the board as possible in order to have the cook's voice heard?
Oh, definitely. I think because as a cook or a competing cook especially, you're out there in the different contests. You're talking to the different members of the organization, and you get more of a feel for what's going on in the world of competition barbecue. I'd like to see more of the board actually visit competitions, even if they're not competing or anything, just to go and visit and shake hands and talk to the membership. Any contest that's in my area, if I'm not competing in it, I will definitely attempt to visit and just talk with the membership.
Talking with John Kirby. He is the pitmaster of Backyard Burners out of Baltimore, Maryland, and he is going to be making a run for the Kansas City Barbecue Society's board of directors here in 2010. John, is there anything else you would like to say here in closing?
Only that as a retired person, I'll have plenty of time to devote to the board. I will make a point that all my monthly reports will be a monthly report and not just a no report written into the minutes. And I'd like to believe, by living in Maryland, I hope to bring maybe a mid-east point of view to the organization that has always traditionally been the Kansas City area, Missouri, and that.
This is John Kirby. He is making a run for the board of directors on the Kansas City Barbecue Society. John, thanks for coming on and sharing your thoughts about why you want to get on the BOD, and good luck to you.
Well, thanks a lot, Greg, and thanks for having me on.
All right, take care. It's John Kirby, Backyard Burners out of Baltimore, Maryland. We'll come back with one more segment. Give me a quick timeout. It's Rempy and you right here on the Barbecue Central Show.